All right, I'm spectating a 2v2 here. Normal speed, turn 77 is quite late in the game. We got two armies here. We got SM and Necron versus Chaos and Aldar. And it looks like SM Necron team wants to siege Chaos here. And there's a lot of cultists, so heavy cultist spam, pretty much. A couple fiends and MOP. No Chaos Lord, surprisingly, which is almost like a blasphemy if you play Chaos, because Chaos Lord is so good. Um, what SM has is lots of Devastators, and it looks like SM lost the Chaplain in the mid game. It looks like they have a lot of high armor piercing damage with Devastators and heavy destroyers. They do not have a whole lot of anti-chaff. Thunder cannons would be anti-chaff. Chaff units meaning cultists. So no thunder cannons from SM. And then with Necron, anti-chaff Necron, I guess, would be the frail ones, I guess. They seem to do pretty good damage. Or barges. I think barges do decent damage versus chaff. Yeah, probably barges and maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to think what Necron would their best unit against chaff units. I think it's barges. Eldar has a lot of transports, has some fire prisms out. It does have a level 6 Atriak. MLP from Chaos. Both factions have been very, very cautious or not willing to fully commit. So it's been quite a slow game, which is fine. I mean, obviously, when you're on the defensive, you tend to have a better strategic positioning or like counterattacking when you're playing defensive. It's a lot harder to. Well, it depends. I mean, base attacking, yes, the defenders at the base will have the advantage. So that's why you need to have units that are quite powerful, or at least delete the base quickly while you're sieging, such as predator tanks, or if you can get. Problem is when they base siege, Devastators aren't really great at base sieging because they can get taken out. Yes, they have range 3, but they're quite squishy, whereas Predator tanks have a lot of HP, and it's a little bit harder to take those out at range 3. So it looks like they gave up on the base sieging here. Looks like they want to say, hey guys, we have the better economy, we have map control, you come to us. So, which I think is good. I mean, you don't want to siege a base if you do not have the clear advantage. They're set up to defend, obviously, you can tell. So why would you try to push into that when you have the disadvantage? If you have the advantage, you siege the base. But like, I think the main thing that SM needs for sieging is either to be able to get a hero in the base or with Predator tanks. Because Predator tanks can easily, unless there's not a, I mean, if there's a Warp Smith out, then the Warp Smith can heal the base, out heal the base. But if you have 4 to 5 Predator tanks shooting the base usually goes down in 2 to 3 turns. So kind of a little bit anticlimactic there. I thought maybe we'd get like a base siege, but that didn't happen. It looks like this game is going to go a lot longer, and it'll be of who wants to attack who. What is my commentary on each person's build? Well, Distant Bears has gone his traditional 3-base Necron into a lot of heavy destroyers, into Praetorians. He has gone to air, so that's pretty nice. They have the air advantage transport, which is actually has the assault feature, I think. Invasion beams. Disbarking does not consume movement, so that's quite nice. And I think, yeah, so they can basically attack and move out of the air, which is extremely powerful. It's in fact probably one of the best transports in the game, in my opinion. Which leads me to another thing. There's a lot of like complaining about balances like on certain units, and I think people get tunnel vision and they focus on, oh, this unit is not as good as this other unit in this other faction, and I think people don't understand that the faction itself has strengths and weaknesses. You can't make every unit as good as, oh, this faction's unit. It's sort of a balancing act, I think. Is like you'll have a faction that might be extremely mobile, but the weakness might be they might not have very tanky units or low HP units. You might have a faction that the economy is like off the hook, but they're maybe a little bit slower to get rolling, or they're not as aggressive in the early game. So I think people need to, before they start complaining about a certain unit that not as good as another unit, they have to look at the faction strengths and weaknesses, because in my point of view, I think the developers purposely might make a unit a little less as good as another unit from another faction, just based on because this faction can do this or has this strength. So I think that's my 2 cents, because I sometimes feel like on Discord people complain about a particular unit and they like to compare it to another unit, and I think they're missing the ship on that. You need to also take into consider the faction itself, because every faction has strengths and weaknesses, and some of those strengths and weaknesses come from their unit composition. So if you're not taking that into effect, then yeah, then you're gonna have these weird conversations where like, oh yeah, this unit is better, and oh, they need to buff this unit, but they're missing the point of the faction itself. But going back into the game, it looks like SM Necron, which is Patul and Distant Bears, they're positioning themselves more into the middle of the map. Do I like their decision? I think I do, because I feel like it's a Quagmire trying to siege these bases. Why not just secure the middle? Distant Bears has the economy. I don't know about Patul though. Patul's research is really low. I mean, we're at turn 80 and it's only 20. Like, that's extremely bad. So I think he kind of messed up there. Probably after the game, he'll probably say that he hated his research. But, you know, getting good research is going to allow you to get to better tech, to higher tech units. And this is where the part of the game is the people that do their economies a little bit better. You're going to start to see them sort of usually come out on top if... now, speaking of, you got a lot of low tier units here as far as all these cultists. So nothing, you got a couple Molar Fiends, but that's about it. So, but you know, the low tier units can sometimes work out, because if they don't have an answer to get rid of chaff units effectively, like I said, Thunder Cannons would be a good option here. Thunder Cannons, if they don't move, can delete cultists in one go. So that trades any unit that can delete a unit in by itself is a great trade. It's very effective units. You don't want to have 3 to 4 units try to kill one cultist. That that's a very bad trade. It's eating up your resources and movement. So Necron is, I guess, committed to air and heavy destroyers, and I guess a few predators. I don't know if this Embarrass is gonna tech into Cetans or into Opolis or barges. I mean, I guess I could click on the buildings to find out what. Yeah, it looks like it's more infantry and air. But he's got the economy. Disembarrass is one of the players that is pretty consistent with very good Necron late game economy. Uh, if we look at Chaos, Debris, economy's fairly good. He's got pretty good plus 20 foods, not bad. But again, he's just producing cultists, so I mean, I'm going to say is they don't really have an answer for the cultists. So if they did, it would be kind of a liability. If SM had 3 to 4 thunder cannons, then these cultists would be just getting shredded to pieces. But he doesn't, so you know all these cultists are quite nice. And then you got Eldar. Eldar's tech is 44 per turn, only 2 base Eldar, so I don't know about 2 bases. He went the Fire Dragon approach with transport, so that's interesting. I think though for Eldar to have a really good economy, he's got that level 6 Atronach, but he needs more outposts. So the Atronach is going to give you double the outposts acquisition. So if you're at 2, it's going to give you 4 of an outpost. No warp forges for the Chaos player, which I feel like I think Chaos is a good faction to build warp gates, at least one in a city, because you have the tools to take advantage of that production with there's a sacrifice cultist and an edict that allows you to boost your population extremely fast. So it does reward you if you build a warp forge. You can really take advantage of that high production and build like a mega city, and that allows you to get into like air quickly as well. So but the Chaos player did not choose to do that. I know there's some players that don't believe in the crane, which is fair enough, but I think Chaos is definitely a faction that I think is not a waste based on those things I said. Again though, it's my opinion. That's the thing about Gladius, there's a lot of players have their own opinions, but on my channel you guys hear my opinions, and you're pretty much stuck to my opinions. SM, yeah, pretty, like I know what Patil tried to do. He tried to do, I guess, a hero / infantry build, but I think that the big thing that I think he could have did better is try to put more effort into science. If because I think that's what's, if I could critique him right now, that's just not very good science at turn 80. Like I bet I would go to the graph here. I guarantee you he's last place. Yeah. So just look at the huge difference in research compared to the other factions. So he's going to be at a much lower tech, less tech acquisition. So I think that's going to hurt him a little bit. But military, he's probably very powerful because he's kind of trailing behind there. But in the mid game, he was the top dog. So I think, yeah. So I don't know. This both teams seem to be very passive, not very aggressive, or cautious. So this could be a long game, drawn out game, and it might come down to who can get the best high tier units. Once you get those very high tier units, you then can just crush armies like this, like the armies in the middle. Like it's and we're talking like defilers, land raiders, like those big high tier 7, tier 8, tier 9, tier 10 Those units are big game changers. So it could be that both sides are not willing to see where the cards will land, and they're probably waiting for their big units to come out. But it looks like Distant Barris is very invested in the air army. Maybe their plan is, well, let's keep investing in the air army, because the air army is going to give you the explosion power you need. It allows you to be extremely explosive, and when I use that word explosive in Gladius, it just means that you're on your turn you're able to delete like maybe 5-6 units, like, and create a demoralize for the enemy team. So that's what like an explosive attack means. And usually transports are a good tool for explosive power. Again, air transports for Necron is probably the best ones in the game for that type of explosive power, because they ignore zone of control and they have very good movement. You got 6 movement. The other faction that has really good transport is Orc, the War Wagon. You put that with Mega Knobs and you can just delete armies like it's no business. Looks like they're jostling for maybe a little bit of position here. Maybe they want to try to hit this right flank. We'll see. But he did move his airship a little bit closer. Now, Chaos definitely has nothing to deal with the air. Nothing. So the only person that can do decent damage would be the Eldar player. But I guess if he got a Fire Dragon out. Yeah. So, yeah, the Fire Dragon. But again, it's pretty safe out here from the Fire Dragon. Alright, so I'm going to take a little break. I got some chicken cooking. I'm going to let the spectate auto camera go. I'll check in probably in 10 minutes. Hopefully there's some action, and I will be back. All right, I'm back. Looks like we've got an assault here. Air transport went in. Actually, it's just about to do some stuff here. Necron Warrior coming out. Yeah, it looks like, just like I said, they wanted to deal with the right flank. Although, they're going to be counterattacked from the base. So, it's a little bit awkward, but... Does he have Jink up? He has Jink up. Okay, so... It's pretty good, but Jink doesn't... Does it, Fire Dragons. Oh, wow. Big shot there from the Devastators. And we got Melt a Bomb actions coming out. So this should be able to take care of this Wave Serpent. Oh yeah. And we got Necron Warrior. Ooh, not enough. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, we got the hero mode Devastator on the cliff here. It's gonna get annihilated by the snipers though. The Rangers. Which will... So pretty good move there. Did a demoralized bomb there. So, ooh, MOP's got 2 digital weapons, and I believe, yeah, the digital weapons get buffed by the Infernal Power. So that's gonna be quite. I think that's the new meta. Putting digital weapons on units like tank commanders and chaplains and things that can buff the digital weapon even further. I don't know if the devs will nerf that so you can't buff digital weapons, but that definitely seems to be the meta now with a lot of heroes. Yeah, if he can kill the captain, that will send a huge morale bomb on this whole army here. And now this is very awkward. Very awkward. He went in with a transport. He has no spaces to get these units out. So Alder just needs to kill this transport. He'll jank it though, but I don't see any fire dragons. I see a fire dragon here, but that's not in position, and I don't see any fire dragons in. Okay, 1 fire dragon in this transport. So, I mean, that's going to do half the damage of this air unit. If he gets a pterodactyl, if the MOP gets a pterodactyl, then I think they could actually kill this with a fire dragon and a pterodactyl, but it's a 1 in 4 chance. Because other than that, I don't see. I mean, he's got these. He got a couple fire prisms, but they don't do that much damage to the air. And I like that they're allowed to pause during these big combat things, because I mean, you put in 4 or 5 hours in a game and you play a game with somebody that doesn't allow you to pause. There's only one player on Discord that makes a big deal about it. You might as well allow people to plan out their moves, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna invest in that long in a game and you're not gonna allow people to at least plan out their moves in a 4 to 5 hour game, I just think it's foolishness. But again, that's my opinion. So I got a phone call, so I will take it. Okay, sorry about that. I had an important phone call. So yeah, big play by. You know what? I didn't even see that. He had digital weapons. Yeah, that was an obvious move right there to kill the. So big blunder there by, I guess, Disembarrass. I'm not sure. Maybe they were hoping that there'd be open spaces for the units to go out of the transport, but there was not. Which allowed the MOP with digital weapons. Okay, so that when I said Chaos had no way of dealing with air, okay, no way of dealing with air unless with those two digital weapons, basically. And he just happened to be able to deal with that. So this mistake could cost SM and Necron the game. We'll see. Seems to be quite a big push here, and this goes back to how Gladius can literally, um, there's a couple ways to win the game: is tactically, economically, or no, that's pretty much it. I think it's just either your economies are just too good or your tactics are better. Uh, so definitely uh, the Chaos and Eldar definitely took the upper hand there. I think, especially with, and again, they still have no answer to the cultists. It's funny because I know the Russian players right now, they love building all these cultists. So I'm just surprised Patul didn't want to beeline to Thunder Cannons or at least Necron get barges, because you know this army composition that they have right now cannot deal with these tier 1 uh, infantry, like not effectively. I'd be interesting to talk to Patul and find out what his reasoning was. He went like he went a lot of a lot of devastators, and I felt like that was somewhat of a waste because you have a lot of heavy destroyers, so you have a ton of armor piercing damage on the field, but you don't have any answer to these cultists. So real interesting there. Obviously, this is his food/power base. Like I felt like if that transport could have unloaded maybe on the flank, or I think it wouldn't be such a lopsided um, fight right now. So right now I feel like it's very lopsided. And again, devastators are great, but when you're getting overwhelmed, and the enemy is able to get close to the devastators, they become a liability. And devastators aren't going to do nothing to cultists. So again, like I said, if they had 3 to 4 thunder cannons right now, you'd be taking out 4 cultists on one turn. So I kind of feel like they had no tanks. SM had no tanks. Necron didn't get tanks. I feel like they're really that's another unit that they both kind of went infantry, and then they both went heavy on armor piercing, which I think played perfectly for Debris, because Debris just went mass cultists and none of them built anything to deal with that. So right now they're in a real pickle, really. What do? Do they stand and fight? Do they try to retreat? Well, here's the problem. If they retreat, they're going to get picked off. They don't have transports other than, I think, this one airship. And that's not going to rescue this entire army. So either they're going to lose. I think right now they are doing a retreat. at least in this transport. But half the army is going to get obliterated on the retreat, you know? So they're going to lose probably 1/3 of their army. And then I think they're just going to push to SM or go push and kill towers. So really this is, it's a hard thing. They're not in a good position, and it doesn't look like Necron tech switched to anything like Obelisks or C10s. He's just continuing to do air. And air transports are great, don't get me wrong, but the damage isn't that great. Alright, so they are doing a full retreat. Looks like the Scarabs are going to come in to try to slow down the force that's after them. Which, yeah, that's a great idea, actually. It makes them not probably save some of the Devastators' lives. But it's not looking good. They are going to lose some troops here, even, you know, retreating. The only way to like successfully retreat and not like lose that many casualties are like ground transports or air transports, but they only have one air transport. But that managed to save a whole bunch, actually, the ones that were closer to the front line. So it looks like Necron wants to try to hold this ruin area. I think that's a mistake because they just don't have the army. I mean, and Eldar is more explosive on this side, you know, where Chaos is just all this, like the zombie horde. Okay, it looks like yeah, it looks like he's doing a tactical retreat with the Praetorians, but the Praetorians are going to go down though. And that is the Achilles heel of a transport, right? So if your transport dies with a bunch of units in it, that is definitely the worst outcome you can have with the transport. And that's where, you know, when you play the transport game in Gladius, you got to be very, very cautious, and scouting is very important. Knowing what's on the field that could potentially kill your transport, that's really important. I don't know if they knew that the MOP had 2 digital weapons. I'm not sure, but if they did know, that was definitely a risky move what they did there. And I believe the Chaos Elder team will want to go on the offensive at this point because they realize they took out, you know, a transport of 5 units. So Morphines aren't so great dealing with model units. They're more for single unit entities. So yeah, cultists do not do very well against Scarabs. I wonder, because damage taken is spread evenly across the whole unit group, but the group takes additional hits. Blast. Okay, so basically blast weapons do really well versus Scarabs. In fact, they kind of melt. There you go. They're loading up the. That's a good idea. Load up the Wave Serpent because he could probably catch him next turn. But you can just see how like Devastator's like kind of a joke. Like it's yeah. You got snipers. Oh, snipers right on the wireweed. That's and boom, there goes that Devastator. Oh, nice cultist. Yeah, that's smart. I wonder if you do a blind grenade on a hero with lethal weapons, if that would make the damage less. Because I think that reduces the accuracy, right? Unless it's a fixed accuracy. It looks like it's a fixed accuracy. I'll have to test it in skirmish mode. But looks like Eldar and Chaos smell blood right now. So it's full steam ahead. And this is where the part where I say, like, you know, having transports in your battle team or your battle brigade is sometimes nice, because when you feel like you're in a bad position to fight, the transports can get you out of there quickly, you know. Neither of them really had, well, I mean, Necron had, problem is Necron's air went in and got killed, so then he only had that one airship to kind of ferry some of the more units that were in trouble. Malefiends. Oh, and he's got the hollow projector. The Malefiends heal at the start of the turn, so. Looks like he's gonna heal the Guardian here. Oh wait, he doesn't have the heal ability. Oh, he does. He never respected the heal ability. He went with Chaos level 7. So what is SM and Necron going to do? Retreat. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't look good. I don't see units being produced by Necron right now. And like I said, they really need some game-changing units like Vindicators, Dreadnoughts, Doomsday Arcs. They need something. They don't have it. They got the air transport, which is nice, gives you mobility, but don't think is great. Right. Rights of War. Final Last Stand. Oh man, the digital weapons are... Alright, I will be right back. Alright, so they're pursuing Space Marines and Necron here. The captain's demoralized. That's never a good sign. I mean, since it starts with 17. Oof. But they have a trait called They Shall Know No Fear, which gives them immunity to fear. Can they get broken though? I'm not sure if they can get broken. I think they can maybe. Yeah, when your captain is shaken, that's a bad sign as an SM player. Oh yeah, this one's actually broken, I think. Yeah, broken up here. Okay, so they can. Yeah, it's not looking good for Disembarrass and Patel. I don't know. I think Predator tanks are very nice for sieging bases, especially against turtlers. I think if but my main thing is I don't understand why Necron and SM did not get any anti-chaff units. Because they have them in their roster. I mean, especially Thunder Cannons. Devastators are just not. I mean, especially Devastators with bad morale. That's not. It's not happening. You got a naked Lord here that. I mean, if he's not careful, that's gonna get taken out next turn. I mean, Eldar doesn't care about armor. Okay. Yeah, no, Necron's saying I'm gonna stand my ground here. I don't know if I mean I get it. They don't want to retreat back into their base. They don't want to give up this tower. It looks like they're saying, okay, if we can't hold this position, then we're gonna GG. But I can tell you by looking at the army down here, I do not think they're gonna be able to hold. So I mean, we can get into maybe, you know, what could have the SM Necron team done differently. And I think it goes back to knowing the matchup a bit and knowing, you know, if you're going to go against mass chaff units, you need an answer to that. Every faction has a unit that does particularly well against high model units. So neither Disembarrass or Patil took advantage of that. And I think they knew mid-game, early game that the Chaos player was going for a mass cultist strategy. So problem is MLP's geared up to do his digital weapon and buff next turn. So say goodbye to Captain in the open if the Captain stays there. 1, 2, 3. Even the Lord can easily get taken out by this. He's at 15 armor, but I mean they're trying to make a valiant last stand here, but I think it's in vain. Yeah, this side's pretty much blocked off now because he's got his heroes. And I don't see any fire dragons in this area. Well, except for these ones that are injured. But if I were going to give my analysts, I definitely say Patul and Disembarrass really lost this game. I wouldn't say they might think they lost the game due to that transport being sniped. Yes, that hurt them a lot, but honestly, they just didn't have the right composition. I think the main problem is they went heavy on very good units to deal with single target units, and they lacked um, units to deal with the high model count units. I think that was their number one uh, biggest disadvantage, really. And then second would probably be the transport play with all the units inside. I'm definitely not forgetting that, but I think their main problem was the army composition, and then the fact that Necron is not really tech switching into anything other than just air units right now, which it's the transport, which he doesn't really have an army left. So, you know, the transport air is only good if you have an army to load it up with. And then the other thing I would say, SM science was way too low, way too low. You need to figure out your build to at least do decent in research. So, because again, you're not getting those higher tech unlocks, and then your enemies getting theirs a lot faster before you. So you already see the Venom Crawlers out right now, which is a pretty good unit for Chaos. So I guess we're gonna do accuracy buff here from that track. Alright, but right now Eldar, well, this Fire Prism's got bad morale, but I think the MOP can kill this captain. He can even buff Muller Fiend on top of that. Oh yeah, it's done. It's done, man. It's done. Yeah, Fire Dragon, fully itemized captain, took it down to half health. And if you do the Doom combo, it's even worse. It's one Fire Dragon, basically. Okay, Infernal Power. How much damage you doing? Digital weapon. Okay. Use your digital weapon. Oh yeah, it definitely gets increased damage. It's at 20.3 from his MOP buff. So I'm just wondering why he's not doing the digital weapon thing here. Okay. Is he trying to save the digital weapon? Because I'm pretty sure 2 digital weapons with the MOP buff kills it. And it's in the open. Yeah, he definitely can kill the captain. Because he moved the Chaos Cultist there. It's weird. But he hasn't used the digital weapons. There you go. 1.9. Oh! So, it doesn't do that much damage. I wonder why. 21. Oh, it must be the armor. Yeah, so digital weapons to captains don't probably do any damage. I wonder why it does so little damage. That's interesting. I thought it would do a lot more. It could be because heroes get a deduction in damage from other heroes, so maybe that's what's classifying it to do less damage, maybe. I thought it would do way more damage than that. That kind of surprised me. Does not look good here. I don't know if they're gonna GG, but they're definitely not winning the battle. The SM Necro team. They're just being surrounded by this zombie horde of cultists and fire prisms and MOP with 2 digital weapons. Alright, so that was a pretty big blow there. SM hero went down. Now he's down to just a chaplain and a captain. Another thing is, the later the game goes, the less important, or less, I wouldn't say less important, but less heroes do really, like, well, unless it's a utility hero. A utility hero that buffs other high-tech units is still pretty good late game, but I'd say captains kind of fall off a little bit by the end of the game. And it's bad when your healer is almost at the front line. That's when you know things are bad. And when you've got spiders fighting in the front line, that's also when you know things are going pretty south. All right, so they are definitely they want to defend this tower. Looks like they're gonna try to melt the bomb, maybe. But bad morale. Don't know. You just see how, like, they just don't have a good answer for chaff units. And I will be right back. Alright, so let's see. Can Necron and SM hold the line against this huge army? I don't think artillery is very good against cultists because there's just too many of them. Like if I was playing AM, I would I think just spamming guardsmen, 2 barracks with edict. That would allow you to kind of match the size of all these cultists. But grenades one shot the cultists basically. If you're playing AM with Kami. And bastions, shield generator. I was just trying to think to myself, like, if I was in this game, yeah, I would double down on the AM guardsmen. It would be a slower armories, but because I'm thinking if I rushed artillery, I don't think artillery is gonna help me against this mass cultist strategy. Oh, there goes Lord. Ouch. Down it goes. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh. Oh wow. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear Patel's take on this game. Again, my assumption is they're gonna say they lost the game because of the air transport blunder, but I don't think that's the main reason why they lost the game. basically, you know, they're just like, what, you're gonna kill the Venom Crawler, and but that just keeps your troops in that same spot, and you're just gonna get overwhelmed. So the Venom Crawlers look really cool. And if you look at graphs, yeah, you're gonna see a big drop in the military of white and brown, which, yeah, you see right here, boom, and right here, boom. Economy looks like, don't know why Batul shot up there to like #1 at one turn, then he dropped. I don't know what that's about, but looks like I mean, this Barris is still the top dog, it looks like, but military is really what matters at this point in the game. So 2 base Eldar, wow. I didn't know you could still, I thought you'd have to do 3 base. Alright, so they might, my prediction is they might try to kill as much as they can and then GG after this turn. Or maybe they still are going to try to fight, I don't know. So he does have a Doom Scythe out, which is more like a fighter type than a transport type. I'm just seeing if it does more damage. I think it does. Yeah, it has an extra gun on it, which is the Death Ray. So it does pretty good piercing damage. Yeah, it can really do big numbers on. But those Molar Fiends are hanging in there. They're not willing to go. Oof. No, it looks like they want to fight to the bitter end. I don't know, like these cultists look like they're just taunting the enemy, like, because they can't really do anything on a cliff. It's almost like they're just, come get me. Like, they're just there to taunt the enemy. What's the purpose of them on the cliff? Who knows? Okay, so that, I mean, that was a decent turn by SM and Necron, but I think it's just, it's not enough. Not enough to stop the onslaught. Again, no answer for the chaff units. They have answers for the bigger type units, but It probably wants to make a chaos spawn. Wow. Phew. Yeah, that level 7 Muller Fiend. Oh, and a summon. Just to add fuel to the fire here. Yeah. I like that they're trying to hold on to this tower. It's kind of it's like a movie, like, we must hold the tower. Hold, men. It's not working. Snipers. All I see is like an endless wave of cultists. These guys digital weapons ready to go next turn, so that tower is probably going to go down in one go. Or you can digital weapon Arians. So actually that, you know what? That is a good, you learn something every game, but Chaos has a very hard time dealing with air. You know, digital weapons, 2 digital weapons, that seems to be the answer on an MOP with the buff. Yeah. So the key to defeating Chaos is trying to kill this Chaos MOP. Definitely would grab a stun grenade because MOPs have pretty good defense. They're pretty tanky, but if you can stun it, should be able to kind of whittle it down. And I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Looks like Necron and SM are fighting to the last man, basically. Uh, Looks like Necron's air got kind of taken out. Looks like the chaplain's gonna go down. And chaplain goes down. Looks like fortress is gonna go down. Fortress goes down. Aye, aye, aye. Airship goes down. Now they got the captain totally surrounded. So he will lose the captain eventually. -4 energy, you know. Yeah, SM's economy is totally kapoots, whereas Chaos still has a nice healthy economy and producing lots of units. Even if Chaos lost all its army, they would just rebuild it quite effectively. I don't see any really units coming out of Necron except for an Immortal. But Mortals are not going to cut it versus Cultists. They don't do enough damage. They're good at holding the line or like holding a tile, but it was so funny because mid-game, the SM Necron just pushed, stole away, and was like looking into Chaos's bases, and then you just see a huge reversal. Chaos and Eldar just pushing right into SM's territory now. Yeah, I don't see any way for Necron and SM to somehow come back from this game at this point. I just don't see it. Economy wise, army wise, I just don't see it. But I guess they like to suffer. slowly die. Uh, yeah, I think this would be a good time to GG. I mean, I don't see anything spectacular from what Necron can build at this point in the game. You know, and oh, finally he's building thunder cannons. A little late though. A little late for thunder cannons, but that's the unit he needed. Yeah, if he had 3 to 4 of these units, that would have dramatically changed the state of this game. So we got a Scarab battle versus Cultist battle here for the relic, but definitely Cultists are going to win that. Unless he wants to spend lots of influence to keep on healing the Scarab. All right. So I think with like captains, you need to spec them either to be anti-armor or anti-infantry. In this case, Conceal with an axe would maybe one shot or come close to killing a cultist group. There's pretty decent damage versus armor. .8. Okay. Oh, so he's gonna live another day. He heals himself. Level 7 chaos spawn. Oh wow. So what's probably, yeah, a more better target. Yeah. Goodbye, medic. Oh, this is painful to watch. The zombie horde. Alright, so Thunder Cannon is gonna come out the first one. Now, it does kill a cultist in one go if it's stationary, but if it moves, then it's gonna have the penalty for the heavy ordnance weapon. that's the game. So there you have it, folks. Necron and SM versus Eldar and Chaos. Units created. Yeah, cultists. 64 cultists. That's insane. Yeah. Wonder. Hey, Patul, how you doing? Yeah, I saw your game. Uh, I was wondering, why you didn't chose to go Thunder Cannons. What's the damage? Yeah, so I guess no comment from him. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.